Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking School Catchments and Affordable Homes, a UK parent's guide to buying in the right area today, and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like School Catchment House Finder UK, Affordable Homes, so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
Welcome back to the Cost Saver Podcast. Today, we're getting into something that, honestly, I think keeps a lot of UK parents up at night: school catchments and how they connect to house prices. Assad, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Angela. Yeah, it's a massive topic. I mean, for most families, buying a home is already like one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives, and then you throw a child's education into the mix, and it just becomes
A whole new level of stress.
exactly, it really does.
I remember, so this was a few years back. I was looking around at properties, and you'd see two basically identical houses, like practically next door to each other, and one was 30 grand more. And you're just standing there going, why? What am I missing?
Right, and that's what people call the education premium. Often it comes down purely to the local primary school. Homes near an Ofsted outstanding primary typically sell for around 13% more than similar homes near a good school.
13%. Okay, so on an average property, what does that actually look like?
Roughly $45,000 extra, and in places like London and the Southeast, that figure is considerably higher. Secondary school catchments push it even further, especially around grammar schools and popular academies.
That's a lot of money, just for a school, essentially.
Yeah, but it makes sense when you think about it. It's supply and demand, right? There are only so many places at a well-regarded school. If it's got a strong reputation, families will, quite understandably, pay a premium to be within that admissions boundary. Estate agents know it, sellers know it.
And the local authorities publish all the data, so everyone can see it. But, okay, here's the thing that tripped me up. I always assumed a catchment area was, a fixed line on a map, like a council tax band or something.
Oh, Angela, that's where most families get completely caught out. It's not a fixed line at all. It's a moving target, honestly. It changes every single year based on how many applications the school receives.
Wait, every year? That's actually quite scary.
It can be, yeah. So some local authorities do publish official priority admission areas with clear postcode boundaries, but a lot of them use a distance-based system where the last places just go to whoever lives closest, measured either as the crow flies or by walking route. The distinction really matters.
Because in a popular year, that distance just shrinks.
Exactly. The catchment effectively shrinks. Families who thought they were safely inside can suddenly find their child bumped to the second-choice school. Happens a lot in London boroughs, Bristol, Brighton, those kind of high-demand urban areas.
God. Okay, so it's not just about distance then. What else do schools look at when they're oversubscribed?
There's a hierarchy, and it's broadly similar across most state schools. First priority is looked after children and previously looked after children. Then children with an education, health, and care plan, an EHCP, naming the school. After that, siblings of pupils already attending. That's actually a really big one.
Oh, the sibling rule. So if you get one kid in, you're basically set for the next one?
For the most part, yes, which means the premium you pay for that first child's place effectively covers the second one too. It's a significant factor if you're planning for two or more children. Then, after that, you've got children of staff members in some cases, the designated catchment area, and finally, distance as the tiebreaker.
Right, so you definitely can't just look at what the cutoff distance was last year and assume you're safe.
Absolutely not. And I can't stress this enough, a cutoff can shrink from 1.2 miles to zero point 0.4 miles in a single year if a popular new development brings in more families. You really need to check the most recent 3 years of admissions data on the local council website. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's really clear and kind of terrifying.
What about faith schools and grammar schools? They play by different rules entirely, right?
Yeah, they do. Faith schools have their own criteria, often prioritizing regular church or mosque attendance, verified by clergy. You could literally live next door, and it means nothing if you don't meet the faith requirement.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So proximity is basically irrelevant.
For faith schools, largely yes. Grammar schools are about the 11 plus exam, so catchment matters far less there. Though some do prioritize successful candidates who live within the local authority. And then academies and free schools set their own policies. Some are basically identical to community schools, others have quirks like banding tests or fair access lotteries. The key thing is read the actual policy document, not the not the marketing brochure.
Ha, fair enough. Okay, so let's get back to the money side. That national average premium of about £45,700 for an outstanding primary, I'm guessing that's not consistent across the whole country.
Oh, not even close. The reality is far more regional. In parts of London, around schools like Fortismere in Muswell Hill or Greycoat Hospital in Westminster, the catchment premium can exceed £150,000.
$150,000? That's a house in some parts of the country.
It really is. Meanwhile, in the Northeast and parts of Wales, the same kind of premium might be as low as £15,000 to £20,000. The Southwest and home counties tend to sit somewhere in between, often adding £40,000 to £70,000.
So where does it bite the hardest? Like which specific area?
Inner and North London, Islington, Camden, Wandsworth, Hackney. The outer London commuter belts like Kingston, Richmond, Bromley. Bristol, particularly Redland and Bishopston. Edinburgh's south side around James Gillespie's. Manchester's Didsbury and Chorlton catchments. Cambridge and Oxford, kind of across the board.
Right, so basically if someone's trying to save money, it really pays to look beyond those hotspots. You mentioned a real example earlier, Sarah and James?
Yeah, so they moved from Leeds to South London in 2023. They initially had their hearts set on a three-bedroom terrace inside the tightest catchment for a well-known Wandsworth primary, priced at £725,000.
Okay.
But by widening their search just half a mile further out to a good primary with strong recent Key Stage 2 results, they bought a similar house for £598,000.
Wait, what's that, 127,000 saved?
$127,000 on the house, plus lower stamp duty of about $3,800. And here's the thing, the school actually moved to outstanding on its next inspection, so they got the same result for way less money. The lesson isn't luck, it's using data rather than reputation.
Oh, that's actually really reassuring, because I think a lot of people just chase the badge, you know?
They do, and that brings up a really important point. Ofsted ratings are only part of the picture. You should also check the school's Progress 8 score for secondaries and the percentage of pupils meeting the expected standard at Key Stage 2 for primaries. A good school with strong progress data often outperforms an outstanding school that's sort of coasting on old results.
I hadn't thought about it like that. So there are hidden costs beyond just the purchase price too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Homes in top catchments often come with higher council tax bands, steeper stamp duty, especially above the 250,000 and 925,000 thresholds, pricier home insurance, more expensive renovation work, higher fees for local services from childcare through to dentistry. It all adds up.
Give me the stamp duty example again, because I think that really lands.
Sure. So, stamp duty on a $500,000 home as a non-first-time buyer is $12,500. On $550,000, it's $15,000. That extra $2,500 in tax is money you can't put toward your child's future. So you've got to calculate the total transaction cost, not just the mortgage.
Right. Okay, so strategies. How do people actually find something affordable without sacrificing a good school? Because that feels like the million-dollar question.
It kind of is. But the good news is, with enough research, you absolutely can do it. First thing, target emerging schools rather than established ones. An outstanding rating gets baked into house prices almost immediately. But a school that's just been rated good with outstanding features or is showing rapid improvement, that often hasn't been fully priced in yet.
So you're sort of getting ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Look for schools with new head teachers who have strong track records, schools that have recently converted to academy status under a well-regarded trust, schools with rising Key Stage 2 or GCSE results over 3 consecutive years, schools that have moved from requires improvement to good, or newly opened free schools with experienced sponsors.
That's really smart. What else?
Fringe postcodes and boundary roads. Every catchment has an edge, right? Homes just inside that edge often trade at a discount because buyers worry the boundary will shift. But if the school's cutoff distance has been stable or growing for several years, that fear is often overblown. You want to check whether the road you're looking at has been consistently inside the priority area for the last 5 admission cycles.
5 cycles. Okay. And I've heard people mention flats as a strategy too.
Yeah, in central London and other pricey areas, a 2 bedroom flat in a top catchment can cost less than a 3 bedroom house in a mediocre one. If you can live with less space for the primary school years, it can be a really smart trade-off, especially since many families move again for the secondary phase anyway.
And feeder schools, that's the other one, right?
Oh, absolutely. Some primaries are official feeder schools for well-regarded secondaries, giving their pupils priority admission. So buying near a good feeder primary can be a sort of two-for-one deal, securing both stages of education in one property purchase. But you have to check the secondary's admissions policy carefully because feeder relationships vary widely.
Okay. So now, the thing that really gets me, estate agents. Because I've heard them say, oh yes, this house is definitely in catchment for such and such school. And you just sort of take their word for it?
Angela, that is the single biggest mistake families make. Estate agents are not admissions authorities. Their maps are often out of date or just plain wrong. Verbal assurances are legally worthless. Only a written statement from the local authority admissions team counts, and even that isn't a guarantee. It's a statement of the current rules.
So what should people actually do? Like, give me the checklist.
Right. So before making any offer, get exact catchment confirmation from the local authority admissions team in writing. Check the last 3 years of admissions data, including the furthest distance offered. Read the school's most recent Ofsted report in full, not just the headline rating. Look at the school's own website for the actual admissions policy document. Talk to parents at the school gates during pickup time. Check whether any new housing developments are planned nearby, and confirm the school isn't facing closure, merger, or major governance changes.
That's a lot, but I guess it's better than finding out you've made a $598,000 mistake.
Exactly. And there's one more thing. If the house sits close to a local authority border, you might find the nearest good school is actually in the neighboring council area, but you can't easily access it. Some councils cooperate on cross-boundary admissions, others don't. It particularly affects families near Greater London borough borders.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. Okay, so there's a bigger question underneath all of this, isn't there? About whether you should even stretch financially for a top catchment in the first place.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's the most important question. The temptation to stretch is real, but over-leveraging yourself to buy a house has consequences that ripple through your child's entire upbringing. A family stressed about the mortgage every month isn't giving their children the same emotional environment as a family living comfortably in a slightly less prestigious catchment.
That's a really good point.
There are some questions every family should sit down and honestly ask themselves. Can we cover the mortgage on one income if circumstances change? What's our emergency fund position after the deposit and moving costs? How would we cope if interest rates rose by 2 percentage points? Are we buying this house for our child or, and this is the uncomfortable one, for our own social validation?
Ooh, last one stings a bit.
It does, but it's worth asking. Also, how does the commute compare? Will you actually be able to afford school trips, uniforms, and all the extras once you're there? Because outstanding schools often expect outstanding parents, fundraising, volunteering, uniform costs.
That's something nobody tells you. Okay, quick one. What if the catchment shifts after you've bought?
This is why the 3-year admissions data check exists. Stable catchments over multiple years are a strong signal. And if you're really not certain about an area, renting in the catchment for a year before buying can be an excellent strategy. You confirm the school works for your family, you build local knowledge, and you avoid the double stress of moving and starting a new school simultaneously.
That's smart. And I suppose there are timing issues too, the application deadlines?
Yeah, really important. Primary applications close in mid-January for the following September. Secondary is end of October. And if you're moving mid-year, in-year admissions are handled differently. They often place children on waiting lists rather than guaranteeing their nearest school. The interaction between school application deadlines, house sale timing, and completion dates catches out even experienced movers.
God, there's so much to think about. Okay, what about appeals? Can you always appeal if your child gets rejected?
You can always appeal, yes, but appeals succeed in roughly a quarter of cases nationally, and rarely for oversubscribed popular schools. So don't buy a house assuming you'll appeal your way in. That's a really dangerous strategy.
Fair enough. So, Assad, before we wrap up, what are the common mistakes you see families making? The ones that cost them thousands?
Oh, there are a few that come up again and again. Buying based on a school's reputation from a decade ago rather than current data. Ignoring the sibling rule and buying a house that only fits one child. Assuming a private tutor's local knowledge is neutral advice. It rarely is. Overlooking transport so the daily school run becomes a nightmare. Not checking whether the road is on a busy through route. Buying at the peak of a local micro-market driven by a single Ofsted inspection, and not budgeting for all those extras I mentioned, fundraising, volunteering expectations, uniform costs. Any one of those can turn a dream move into a really expensive lesson.
Right. Okay. So let's pull this all together for people. What are the absolute must-dos?
Okay, so first, clarify what your family actually needs from a school, not what the property market has decided you should want. Second, use official data to find areas where quality education and affordability overlap. Look at emerging schools, boundary roads, feeder primaries. Third, and I really can't say this enough, verify everything in writing with the local authority, not the estate agent. And finally, keep your family's overall financial health in the picture. A good education matters, but so does a stable, comfortable home where you're not stressed about the mortgage every month.
I love that. Assad, that's been really, really helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. Happy to help. And for everyone listening, we'll put links to the tools and guides Assad mentioned in the show notes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Cost Favor. Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost saver blogs, especially postcode crime data and rental risk, checklists to verify before choosing a local service provider, and moving cities in the UK and mistakes to avoid.
Exactly. And reading those together helps you connect the dots across your household budget, not just this one topic in isolation.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like School Catchment House Finder UK, Affordable Homes right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include Department for Education school admissions guidance and Which Guide to Moving House with Children and School Catchments, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone who could put these ideas to work this week.
Your next step is simple. Try School Catchment House Finder UK, Affordable Homes, then read postcode crime data and rental risk and use them together to take action today.